Welcome, I'm your Cosmic Girl 101, and this is a deep astrological video about the Leo rising sign for the month of September 2024. If deep analytical astrological information about your rising sign is not your jam, I appreciate that. This video and content may not be for you. Yet, if you are astrologically minded and very interested in what is going on for your rising sign, your Cosmic Girl 101 has you covered. You may even need a pen and paper to jot down some dates as we go through this video, or save the video to reference back through during the month. Leo rising, your ruling planet is the sun. The sun is the lord of your chart. You are a fixed yang fire rising sign. Apologies in advance if my computer makes any noise during the video. It's loading, it's doing whatever it's doing. I'm recording when Mercury's retrograde. Surprise, surprise. Opening up the month, we're going to talk about the slower planetary transits first. On the 1st of September, speaking of first, Pluto, which has been retrograding in the sign of Aquarius, your 7th house, is now retrograding back into Capricorn, your 6th house, and then goes direct on October 11. Uranus on the same day is also retrograding now in the sign of Taurus, your 10th house, and goes direct January 30, 2025. Leo rising from the 1st of September until October 11, what you could be experiencing is an adjustment, recalibration with your career, connected to your day-to-day routines, your health and services you provide. Your professional life is adjusting. Authority figures will be highlighted here as well that are a support system to you or have an impact on your life in one way, shape or form. This is where the recalibration is happening. Your 10th house of public career, your image, how people see you, authority figures, your day-to-day health, your environment that you frequent, anything to do with services that are provided to you or services you provide with others. Pets are highlighted here in the 6th house, and illness, working and co-workers. So there's something for you, Leo rising, that you are dipping your toes in and out of, trying to find your way, what makes you feel good on the day-to-day in your public life, with your career and your profession. This is what you could be dealing with when you have Pluto retrograde here and Uranus retrograde here in the 10th and the 6th. And things start to take shape and form by October 11. There's a lot more clarity, if you will, on the path forward connected to the 6th house and the 10th house topics. The other sewing planetary transits that are continuing in the month is Neptune's continuing its retrograde in your 8th house of shared resources and finances. Neptune retrograde here then goes direct on December 7. So there's adjusting going on. There's fluctuations with your resources and resources that are shared with significant people, as well as what you could be going in fluctuations over. It's all about the finance, what works for you and what supports you. Jupiter is continuing its transit in Gemini, going forward for the whole month of September, your 11th house, and this is Jupiter's detriment sign. So Jupiter in the 11th house in Gemini, lots of changes going on with friends, allies, beneficiaries connected to your professional life. Your dreams and goals for your future are changing, or your friends' dreams and goals and what their aspirations for the future is changing. There seems to be a split happening for you as a Leo rising between you and groups of people, charitable institutions that you're connected to. There's changes going on around your friendships and allies and the people that you connect with on a social level. Saturn's also retrograde in Pisces for the whole month of September, your 8th house, and doesn't go direct until November 15. So you have two slow planets retrograde in your 8th house of shared resources and finances. So you're sifting through the wheat and the chaff, and you're really working out what's working for your assets and investments, or what needs to be readjusted, and also shared resources, people that support your finances. There's some real big changes going on there for you as a Leo rising. Now on to the lunations for the month of September. What is the luminary doing? The luminary is our moon, and the other luminary is the sun, which is your ruling planet. On the 2nd of September, there is a new moon in Virgo, your house of finance. The second house is so much more than finance. It's to do with your possessions, your assets. It's also where you have niche skills that support you, that give you a sense of independency. You can hold your own. And so when you have a new beginning here in the house that supports the self, you, and also can have a financial aspect to this new beginning, it sets off eclipse season. It's the second house and eighth house axis where the eclipses are going to be playing out for the next 3 years. There's going to be some significant fluctuations and changes connected to your finances that are shared and that are autonomous to you. This is what you can begin to process in a very slow, very practical way on the 2nd of September in that earthy, practical, yin immutable sign of Virgo. There's a sense of, I understand this new beginning is going to take some time to flux and change and adapt. I know what I need to do that's going to support me. And it begins on the 2nd of September. On the 17th, there's a partial full moon lunar eclipse happening in Pisces, your 8th house of shared resources and your assets and your money. When something like the moon illuminates that 8th house, there is a recognition point, an acceptance point of something quite emotionally being revealed about other people's finances that support you, or how you are impacted by other people's finances, or where you want to break free from any unhealthy attachments. You want to change things up on the 17th of September, or at least emotionally purge the feelings of being connected with this shared resource, or how you feel about your own financial standing and health. This is what you could be dealing with on the 17th of September. Leo rising, let's talk about your ruling planet now, which is the sun. The sun in the month of September 2024 is making very difficult aspects being how your ruling planet is connecting with other planets, but they're in the aspects and the information that's coming towards you or needs to be dealt with is difficult for you. It's going to really impact you, your body, your image, how people see you. You're going to be very, very visual to other people, and you're really going to be laying down the anvil or having some very real and raw conversations in the month of September 2024, or difficult conversations and interactions. Forewarned is forearmed. It's not all roses in life, Leo rising. I think you're in for a bit of a challenge this month, so let's get into why. Opening up the month, your ruling planet is continuing its transit in the second house of finance, resources, assets, possessions, anything that supports you or reflects you. So your finances are a reflection of you, and you want them to be healthy, predictable, solid, and very calm. This is what you're seeking, and you certainly want to be seen as someone that has a lot of financial stability. You're very practical, and you're certainly projecting that out. Well, on the 8th of September, your ruling planet is opposing retrograde Saturn in Pisces, your 8th house. So, what you could be up against here, if you will, is taking a stand in having people say no or restrict you in any way, shape, or form connected to shared resources and your assets and finances. If you feel you're being bullied or someone really is taking more of a leadership role than you may like or appreciate, this is the day where you may really find your voice, step into your power, and definitely let someone or an institution or have a communication that's very intimately connected to your heart chakra about what you're going to withstand and what you're not. A difficult day to navigate on the 8th of September. On the 12th of September, your ruling planet is then squaring off with Jupiter in your 11th house. Your 11th house for you, Leo rising, where Jupiter is currently transiting in its detriment, which doesn't do so well, being Gemini, is having groups or organizations or allies or friends or even your dreams for the future being a little bit too much or exacerbated or indecisive that affects your finances and sense of stability. You could have an organization or a friend, for example, really playing up and being larger than life that gives your image a distasteful projection, for example. This could be a very difficult day on the 12th of September as well. Something or someone is playing havoc with your sense of self or your character or even your psychology that's affecting your finances, assets, and resources. On the 20th of September, your ruling planet then opposes retrograde Neptune in Pisces, your 8th house. So, this is when you certainly do see the forest with the trees in identifying what you're going to put up with and what you're not in regards to information, people that have resources that are intimately connected to you, not being clear, concise, and practical. This can be a day where you really have your feathers ruffled and you're laying down an anvil of going, all I need is clarity. All I need is certainty. I am not going to withstand anything that is over romanticized or overhyped. Another difficult day to navigate on the 20th of September, quite simply, because what's up for stakes, what the stakes are, is very high, which is your sense of financial independency, your finances, assets, resources, and possessions that you do not want to see taken from you. At least feel like you are not being considered on the 20th. On the 22nd of September, we see the beginning of the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere, which is Ostara, and we see the autumn equinox begin in the northern hemisphere, which is Mabon. So we have a change of season. We've been on the planet long enough to know we recognize that seasons are changing with the physical environments around us and also feeling that things are starting to change and flux and flex. The same day, your ruling planet then ingresses into Libra, its traditional fall zodiac sign placement, your third house, until October 22nd. So your ruling planet is now in that diplomatic, very justice minded, very social zodiac sign of Libra, your third house. Now, the sun doesn't do well in Libra, so what you could be dealing with as a Leo rising is feeling like you're doing a lot of overcompensating. A lot of energy is going towards other people, short distance travel, communication, technology, even finances, siblings, cousins, people that you consider family that are not blood related. A lot of energy is going towards them. And you're trying to find your feet and balance there. So it could be a tricky transit for you because your sun doesn't do so well here. But The aspect of itself, the third house and the first house, is in a sextile aspect. Astrologically, that's easier to deal with, but you could feel a little bit torn in so many different places with different faces that you could feel a little bit overwhelmed at times. So try to balance things out. Learn to delegate, Leo rising. Let other people carry the weight with you if you have a lot of responsibility in the day to day. On the 30th of September, we see your ruling planet conjunct Mercury. Now, Mercury is the planet that rules the zodiac sign of Virgo, which is your second house, and also rules the zodiac sign of Gemini, which is your 11th house. So, this is the day on the 30th for you, Leo rising, where something is so obvious that you need to communicate it, connect to your finances, your possessions, and even friends groups or allies that you're connected with. This is the day where you may be having a strong declaration on what is or isn't working. Affirmative decisions are made, or at least clarity and illumination is obvious on the 30th of September. Now on to our personal planets. Mercury, our planet of travel. It's a very cerebral planet. It's about ideologies. It's communicative. It likes to learn. It likes to move around a lot. It loves to be social. Opening up the month, it's transiting in your first house. So lots of traveling, changes, communication, thought processes are going on about you, or you have a lot going on. People are coming to you for a lot of action, communication, and this could be a lot to harness in your first house of the self, your physical body. So you may feel at times very lit, if you will, or your brain seems to be on. It's hard to switch off when Mercury's transiting that first house. On the 9th, Mercury then ingresses into Virgo, its domicile sign and exaltation sign, your second house, until the 26th of September. It's a very quick transit with Mercury in your second house. Now, Mercury in a very strong placement where it's very happy and can do mercurial things quite organically is change things up and accelerate your earning capacity, communicating about your finances, or changing up your financial domain when Mercury is in that second house for you. On the 18th, we see Mercury then oppose retrograde Saturn in your 8th house. So Mercury's standing off and looking over at your 8th house from your second house, Leo rising, and it's opposed to Saturn retrograde here, which is waiting for things to come to maturation, or waiting for finances, or waiting for things to be more settled and certain, waiting for someone to make a decision that actually impacts your financial space. An interesting day on the 18th. Then the 25th, Mercury then opposes retrograde Neptune in your 8th house. So Mercury wanting to move things, accelerate, let's get things going, connected to your finances, assets, possessions, your resources, is opposed to things not being clear, that's connected to other people's resources that support you, or your assets being in a state of flux. Could be a difficult or frustrating day to navigate on the 25th of September. On the 26th, we then see a Mercury ingress into the sign of Libra, your third house, until October 13th. So Mercury then moving along into your third house, being Libra. This is where you can negotiate. You can find some balance and recalibrate anything that's been up in the air, or going through a process, if you will, creating more financial certainty for yourself, and especially connected with other people's resources that you share. So there's an evening out here, a tempering, if you will, of mercurial subjects, communication, things are now settled, and you can certainly start to see the fruits of your labour regarding having difficult conversations or what you've been dealing with when Mercury ingressed into your second house on the 9th up until the 26th. Things now seem to be settling, or at least your mind is now a little bit more certain on the path forward from the 26th of September until October 13. You can expect a settle down connected to short distance travel, communications, finances now evening out, siblings, cousins, people that you consider your tribe or your family that aren't blood related, things are settling. So a nicer transit when Mercury is transiting Libra, creating more balance, fairness. So if you're feeling that there's been, you know, the weights haven't been equaled, this is where you can have conversations to iron out any nuances. Mars, our personal planet of passion, initiation, conflict. Ooh, that Mars can really get us fired up. And for you, Leo rising, opening up the month is in the sign of Gemini, 11th house. Friends, groups, allies, dreams, goals, aspirations for your future. This is where Mars has been transiting for you, and before Mars leaves his sign on the 4th of September, on the 3rd is going to square off with retrograde Neptune in your 8th house. It's a day of having a difficult conversation with someone that is part of your professional life, an organization, someone in an organization that could be a bit wishy-washy and a little bit too chaotic for you. So it may be a difficult day to navigate on the 3rd when Mars, who wants to just take action and really go for what it loves, is squaring off with your resource house. So there could be tensions with groups, people that support you professionally. May be difficult to get some clarity around resources connected to them. And then on the 4th of September, Mars then ingresses into Cancer, its 4 position till November 3rd. And this is your 12th house, Leo rising. This will be an interesting transit for you because Mars in the 12th house, I personally like the 12th house as an astrologer because the 12th house is where we get time to drop out of the sunlight, if you will, and step into more things that are subdued, isolating, but we want to be in that space to regather our thoughts, get in touch with our spiritual, philosophical sides of life, give more time and dedication to our soul, what we need to process, what we need to drop into, step out of reality, if you will. And we need to go to those places in a spiritual aspect. It's also the place where we can drop into self-undoing, self-sabotage. The 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. The 12th house is a house of institutions and hospitals. It's a lot to do with mental work, psychology. So when Mars is transiting here from the 4th of September to the 3rd of November, you've got a large window of time to sever, cut away from, and passionately engage in things that you enjoy behind the scenes. And if you're not enjoying things that have been chronic, this is the transit where you can get on top of things that have been weighing you down for way too long. Maybe very emotional, very intimate. What this transit is for you as a Leo rising can have a lot to do with how you feel. And Mars transiting here will help you protect and eliminate and even have the clarity in knowing what's working and what's not working, connected to your heart chakra, and really identifying, is your feelings real or is it all in your head? So an interesting transit coming up for you when Mars is transiting in that 12th house from the 4th of September until the 3rd of November. On the 30th, we then see Mars trining retrograde Saturn in Pisces, your 8th house. So your 12th house to your 8th house. Now, Mars trining Saturn is interesting, but Saturn's retrograde in that house of shared resources and finances. This is where we have it's like a battle comes to an end. Something that's been long in the tooth, proverbially or metaphorically, now comes to a final resolution. So the 30th of September sees you now feeling a little bit more content connected to your finances, shared resources that you've been concerned about or trying to get your head around for a very long time. Now seems to settle. Something lands on this day, if you will, that ends a struggle with your financial house and your 12th house of the unseen. Not a bad day at all, Leo rising on the 30th of September. Finally, on to our personal planet, Venus. Now, Venus, opening up the month, is continuing her transit in Libra, your 3rd house. Now, Venus is very strong in Libra, it's a sign. She can do Venusian things quite organically, which is unite, socialize, talk about subjects that she loves, attracts what she loves, and connects and unifies. This is Venus. Transiting in your 3rd house of short distance travel, communication, technology, vehicles, reading, writing, teaching, learning, siblings, cousins, family that you consider family that aren't of blood. These subjects are easier to navigate, or you're having a lot more pleasurable times with these subjects. 3rd house sextiles your 1st house of you, your self-image, how people see you, is you're busy. You're socializing, you're out there, you're on the move when Venus is transiting in your 3rd house. But there's something enjoyable about it. So whatever you're just getting your teeth into, you're really enjoying it, and you seem to be attracting some really nice moments or connections around you when Venus is transiting in that 3rd house. On the 5th of September, Venus and the moon come into a conjunction. I instinctually feel this day as you're in the right place at the right time. A very serendipitous day on the 5th of September is how I see this day play out for you, Leo rising. You could meet the love of your life. I know that sounds so cliche, but it feels really quite auspicious like that. Something happens on this day that makes your heart sing. It's a wonderful day on the 5th of September. If you're more prone to playing it cool and being not so visual out in the public, I encourage you to step out and integrate and connect on this day. There may be a delicious surprise that changes you in a very profound way on the 5th of September. On the 15th of September, Venus trines Jupiter in Gemini, your 11th house. So the two benefics in a trine aspect. This is harmonious. It's easier for things to come together. So something in your immediate environment lands or connects, and you find a new friend, you find a new group, You find someone that supports your work professionally. Just looks like a fantastic day on the 15th for things seeming a little strangely easier than they have done for a little while. Enjoy it. On the 22nd, we see Venus squaring off with Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, your sixth house. So you're the planet of love, unity, socializing. It's all about cohesion and relationships and love. Squaring off with retrograde Pluto in your sixth house is identifying what works in your daily environment. What is it that you consistently do that you now see the forest for the trees and you can identify what is working and what isn't. Something that's always been comes into full view, hard to miss, that leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and this can be a very argumentative, very contentious day on the 22nd of September. Then on the same day, after Venus, has basically a shit fight with retrograde Pluto, she then ingresses into Scorpio, her detriment sign, till October 17, and this is your fourth house. Take a deep breath, Leo rising. Venus in the fourth house of Scorpio. This is where you could have some very strong, passionate, heated moments with a family member or someone in your family that is very dominant, very volatile, really grates on you with this transit. Venus transiting here will have you have some very intense, profound emotional uh, occurrences or events in your fourth house that really do grate against you, because the fourth house squares your first house. The Venus transiting here is not really positive. What you can expect is jealousy, jealousy in family, jealousy with real estate and property concerns, jealousy in the home, or passionate conversations in the home. Parents, parenting. This is not the easiest of transits, I have to say, as an astrologer. When Venus is in that volatile sign of Scorpio, which is Mars's sign. And Venus and Mars are the natural opposites. And we have tension here in the fourth house, lots of tension. Yet the irony of Venus and Scorpio is passionate tension. So if you're having passionate tension in your fourth house, it's because ultimately there is something that you want, or something that you want recognized or once and for all sorted out. Passion goes on and on and on because we are seeking something through someone else. We want this. We gravitate toward what we love. Venus and Scorpio, we're gravitating passionately towards what we're fixating on. So something in the family, real estate, property, parents, parenting. There could be moments for you, Leo rising, that feel so overwhelming or so heightened, but it's because something or someone wants something and they've got like a vice-like grip on it, or we're white-knuckling a situation that's going on. So you may be really aware or can see, it's like you see how this family dynamic, all these topics of the fourth houses really does have an effect on you, your body, your image, how you're seen. This is not the easiest of transits, but what I think you'll come out of after the 17th of October with is real certainty of identifying your ideologies or your visions for the future don't involve certain family members, real estate or property concerns. are not in your future vision anymore, you'll certainly get this transit, I feel, will certainly give you um, a lot of information and so many conflicts and differences of opinions that at the end of it, you'll come out realizing, I'm not identified with that anymore. I'm done with that. I'm over with that. I can move on. So you may decide to relocate. You may decide to um, separate with family members or have some difficult conversations with family members, be done with once and for all. You may be ready to change up your physical body as well because of what's going on around you. So ultimately, I think this is going to be helpful at the end of the transit for you to certainly uh, feel like the fog has been cleared or a mist has been lifted, and it changes you quite profoundly after this transit is over and done with from the 17th of October when Venus then ingresses into Sagittarius. So ultimately, I think it's a helpful transit, but not without navigating some very tricky waters and nuances up against a very narcissistic, possibly very um, passionate people in your family unit, or things going on in your real estate or your home dwelling um, that is quite volatile or distasteful, if you will. But things will certainly settle, and you'll definitely be changed after this transit. I feel that quite strongly for you, Leo rising. I'm your Cosmic Girl 101 and I'm signing off. I trust you have a fabulous month of September 2024. It's such a pivotal month for all of us here on planet Earth. I think Leo rising, you possibly are going to be one of the zodiac signs that may find this month difficult to navigate. However, there's always lessons in understanding that you may need to be more flexible, less rigid, or white knuckling things in your life that have always been a constant. You may need to just loosen up and let go. Speak from your heart. Use your throat chakra, is what I encourage. Stand your ground. Don't stand back from conflict. Don't stand back from issues that you are really significant to you. You know, stand up for yourself and do things a little differently than you've always done. You can change your future here in the month of September 2024. It feels that profound. Leo Rising, if you find value in this video, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell notification so you can keep up with the latest postings that I upload here on Cosmic Girl 101 YouTube channel if you like my style of astrological delivery. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I trust you have a good month, and I'll catch you next video.